Hey everybody, it's Sharice. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am actually going to be doing a remake of the vegan ribs. So slightly different ingredients, maybe a little bit of different spices as well. But I will post those in the comment or the description section. So do me a favor, go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course you are welcome to share it. Hit your notification bell also so that you know when we upload new videos. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about what I'm doing different with this particular recipe. So I just want to send a nice shout out or thank you to one of my viewers. His name is Tim Roberts. He commented on my other video and he was telling me how well or how good this recipe tastes when you're using King Oyster Mushrooms. So we actually have a place that we find King Oyster Mushrooms here in Missouri. And so for anyone that do not know what they look like, this is what they look like. They're fairly inexpensive. So I'm going to just shred the 3 of these up. I don't know in comparison for the recipe how many I need. So if you know me, sometimes I'm unprepared for my recipes when I'm trying stuff. So I just kind of go with the flow. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this recipe. First things first, I'm going to start by, I've already pre-washed these. I'm going to actually trim off some pieces. I just chopped my onions up. Sorry about the way it looks. So I'm just going to chop off a little bit of some of the stuff that I don't want. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the caps or not. I typically don't use the caps all the time, but we'll see. I may just keep them. So I'm just going to start this recipe first by shredding this. And as you see, it pulls off very easily. I'm just using a fork. Now, what I have learned in the past with using these actually have a lot of water in them. So I believe Tim mentioned that the ribs turn out pretty juicy. So this will be interesting to see how this works. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish shredding all the rest of these right quick. Alright, so I have actually shredded all of my King mushrooms or King Oyster mushrooms, and I'm going to throw these in this bowl. So this was 3 nice sized King Oyster mushrooms. Again, I don't know how many I should have used, but that's what I had, so I used it. I have 1 package of 12 ounces of Impossible meat, so I'm going to add that in. And I'm going to start by adding in another, I chopped up about a half of a medium onion. I did a red onion this time. And I'm going to add in my seasonings now. So I get my measuring spoons, have everything lined up over here next to me. So it calls for a small amount of brown sugar. So I'm literally just going to take and grab a tablespoon of dark brown sugar. That's what I have going in now, guys. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to add in is 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of pepper. It calls for a half a teaspoon, but I'm not going to measure that out. I'll just sprinkle a little bit. And a teaspoon of smoked paprika. So all of the measurements that I'm giving you are halved from the other recipe that I made before, because I'm not using as much meat in it. And I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke. I'm adding a half a teaspoon of sage, ground sage, for a little bit of flavor. And next thing I'm adding is 1 whole teaspoon of steak seasoning. which probably is a combination of everything I've already used. So I'm going to hold off with my salt for the moment until I have a chance to see how this is going to taste. So I learned my lesson before. I'm not even going to try to stir it. I'm just going to use my hands in it. I've already washed my hands. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of mix this all together. So if you make this recipe, you're going to get your hands dirty. So it looks pretty well mixed. So we're going to go ahead and get it on our baking dish so we can get baking. I'm going to line my baking dish with some foil. And I'm actually going to bake mine in my little convection oven. And it's actually like an air bake convection oven. So I'm going to bake mine in that to try to keep the house from getting too warm. And I'm going to go ahead and just spray my pan a little bit. Rinse my hands off. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer my mixture over onto my pan. And again, you just want to shape it into what you would make your ribs look like. So I'm just going to make it look, flatten it out a little bit, and just shape it however you think you want to make your ribs look. So I'm going to kind of make it into a little bit of a rectangle. And then we'll put it in the oven. We'll bake it on 375. Put it in the oven, let it bake for about an hour and 10 minutes, adding your barbecue sauce on it at the end. So again, this recipe is pretty easy as long as you have everything that you need. And the other recipe was excellent. We're going to see if this one tastes just as good or better, or even just the texture of it. We're going to see. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cut cooking a little bit because I'm using the convection oven, which is a lot smaller than the larger oven. So the heat doesn't have to go as far to cook. So as you can see, these are really brown already. So I'm going to go ahead. Again, I stopped at about 45 minutes of cooking. I'm using just some barbecue sauce, nothing special. I'm going to go ahead and pour it on top. And I am going to spread it on a little bit, and then I'm going to put these back in the oven for about 5 minutes. And then we'll take them out and be ready to eat. Alright, just pulled these out of the oven, and the sauce is thickened up a little bit. It's cooked onto them a little bit. So what I'm going to do, let these set for about 10 minutes, come back, cut them up, and give them a taste. So I just cut a piece off, and this is what it looks like on the inside. So we are going to taste this. Yeah. So I just finished tasting it, and it is awesome. Texture wise, it's wonderful. So I'm gonna let my daughter give it a try and see her opinion on it. It's very good. Texture is real nice and juicy, I bet, as the best way to say, isn't it? Wow. All right, Tim Roberts, thank you so much for giving us that little tidbit to try that. It's awesome. It's really good. All right, so here is my husband's opinion on the switch of the ribs using, instead of, what did we use last time? Jackfruit?
Jackfruit, yep.
So instead of using jackfruit, we're doing these with the
King
mushroom.
oysters.
Yeah, King Oyster Mushrooms. Thank you. So let's get his opinion on how it tastes, texture-wise, and everything. Now, I did change some of the seasonings in this recipe, but for the most part, it still tastes awesome. So go ahead. Let's get a change. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. Now let's see what you got.
Okay.
All right. Let me see what this do right here. Let me just grab this whole piece. I don't feel like trying to. Oh wow.
Really? Seriously?
Is that good, Dad?
Oh my gosh.
It's like heaven.
All right. So before you take another bite, what's your thoughts?
Tastes great. It has a better taste. So if I had to compare with jackfruit has more of a blend taste. So you have to really prepare it correctly to get it to taste like you want it to taste. Mushrooms, you don't have to do that much. In fact, mushrooms have more of a natural taste, more of a meaty taste. And so with this, the taste is a lot better. The texture, I don't know if I could say the texture is better, but I like it. A lot.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah. So I like it a lot. So we will be doing this again. I won't say I won't ever use the jackfruit, but the King Oysters, they have a special place in my heart. So please, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave any comments down below. Try the recipe out, see what you think about it. See if I'm lying, but I'm not. And we'll see you next time. God bless.